Okay, good evening, Gotham. Good evening, Metropolis, Emerald City, Xanadu, Babylon, to the ISS, and the rest of you. Welcome to the number one podcast, vlogcast, whatever cast. I mean, what is number one? It's the number one podcast that nobody knows about, and even fewer people watch. I am Scooter McGee. Here are your headlines for Beware the Ides of March, 2022, March 15th. 1 a.m. on the East Coast, 9 a.m. in Moscow, 3 p.m. in Tokyo, and 10 p.m. in the Hollywood Hills. Good evening, JR. It has been an interesting 24 hours. I did attempt, and I think I'm going to do this, maybe in the afternoons, not in the evenings, since my afternoons are your afternoons are my mornings. In that the news cycle between when we get off the air or get off this platform at night and the overnight versus then what gets propagated and promulgated through the spheres, multiple spheres of media. In that I've noticed this because so I'm monitoring and skimming various medias. And I have a book and notes. We keep doing this. We've already gotten the next book. Well, this is, looks like headlines and etc. because some interesting talking points now are starting to emerge. I got to get in the habit of doing this back like radio. Have a Coke and a smoke. Here we go. You need to stop complaining about high gas prices. If you had an electric car, you wouldn't be worried about this. I hope you understand how absurd that sounds. But too many elected officials are now parroting this statement, when the reality is the United States is sitting on a 100-year supply on our own land. We can't buy our own product from our own country. Our leaders are making us beg for it elsewhere. That should not scare you. It should alert you that maybe something isn't right in Denmark. So, in the course of all of these notes that initially started here, because thank God I got a filing cabinet out in storage, so that's where these notes are going to start going, along with every other note I've ever taken, like dossiers and the mechanic. I'm going to need a big bulletin board and start laying it out, and we're going to need strings. These headlines I find interesting in the sampling of that it's not just about Ukraine in crisis or the consumer at the gas pump, but now the ginning up and pulling off the back burner on a simmer and wanting to now start bubbling in other areas. So let's take a look at these headlines. President Biden and Macron. See, can you all agree on how to just say the name? That'd be nice. They're discussing the Ukraine. They had intense discussions in the overnight, in the early this morning. If Joe Biden's going to bed at 4:30 in the afternoon, how do you have a conversation in Moscow? It's just a question I have. When we tried to chat last night, and forgive me, I don't handle death well. Hail the Volk, and hail Prince of Soot #1. We were talking about 2.5 to 2.7 million. That number changed, 2.8, and as I said, by this time, we should be at 3 million. We're there. But there's an interesting situation arising. The number of Ukrainian refugees that are appearing at the Mexican-U.S. border, and then deliberately in the, I call it the scroll, but the crawl, on ABC News overnight. I'm just jumping ahead to that ABC crawl. And that migrants are approaching the Florida Keys. Are these Haitian migrants? Are these Cuban migrants? It just ran on the scroll. No footage of. No. Okay. Possibilities between the Catholics and the Protestants in Belfast. Reminiscent of the times of Lech Wałęsa in Poland and Solidarity. It was a much different time in Northern Ireland. And 20 years of a delicate peace are always on the verge of erupting. When was the Russian Revolution? And removing the czars? You know, Americans can't tell you how many presidents of the United States there were and are. And yet, it's just outside the grasp of 10 digits. You're going to need more than that one. So, ladies, you can use your toes. That's how many world leaders the former Soviet Union has had since the fall of the czars. And it's a country that's 110 years old. If we're going to go by 2022, well, that's a lie because the Russian Revolution of 1917. Putin is not a madman. The West and the delegation and the authorities of thanking the community and denouncing the outrage. Here's a headline on NBC News that ran today at 5 o'clock, 5:30. Russians were shelling an evacuation site in Ukraine. Excuse me. It's war. The Russians are shelling, and a building was hit. And the brave men helping the victims escape. It's not an evacuation center. How dare you? How stupid do you? Well, they're talking to the lowest common denominator viewer, voter, consumer, and mouth breather. The Russians shelled an evacuation site. Wow. Those who are now not going along with the agenda, Russian sympathizers, Putin loyalists. Putin loyalists. I didn't get my medal of occupation under Putin. Depending upon which version of the media you are watching, Russia's attacks in Ukraine have either stepped up or have stalled. CBS and ABC News, CBS and CNN, Russia stepping up attacks. ABC and NBC News, attacks remain stalled. Fox News injured journalist was injured in Ukraine, was reported. Journalist telling their story in the field. Yeah, well, reporter shows. You decide. Not a kitschy little tagline and a logo and all that. You show it. The horrific images. The warnings to our viewers. What's with all these European freak shows on the dance floor? I'm in my wartime journalist outfit. Let's stay back on target. Several pages of headlines here. The U.S. is condemning, finally, the Iranians for a missile strike into Iraq. They're condemning it now. Good. There's possibly a serial shooter in New York City. How about the guy who beat the snot out of the... See, I can't tell you what the suspect was, but the Asian suspect. Because we want to make sure you think it's white on Asian crime. That and dog needs to be put down. You want to talk an animal. Animals that go rabid. And don't hand me that. Because y'all watched. Where is y'all coming back from? Watched Old Yeller. Thank you, Walt Disney. China is now allegedly battling the worst COVID outbreak since 2020. Lockdowns affecting now 50 million Chinese. Tom Brady is not going to retire after all. So, selling all the stuff and then making the announcements and the Instagrams and the Twitters, and I just need to get back in the game. What, is gas that expensive, Tom, or is your wife just that impossible? I gotta get out of the house. Uh, Again, like a retired bra, we have no skills. Tom Brady has his skill set. Once outside of that, you're unemployable. Okay, he doesn't want to be on the sideline, doesn't want to be a commentator, wants to play. I get that. But the outrage by the media regarding someone who paid for a football, well, it sucks to be you. You'd pay that much for a football anyway. Who cares what it was for? And it's not the last. And Tom should give his money. Watch. Okay, calm down. Everybody calm down. The markets are awaiting the Federal Reserve's announcement of the rate hike, which is pending immediately, 316, 317, or 318. We expect it before the end of the week. They alleged they were going to announce midweek. March Madness, of course, resumes earlier this afternoon. Good luck with your brackets. It is the one where, as a degenerate gambler, I don't even get involved in until the Sweet 16 and just do some probabilities and have some bets with friends. Not a basketball guy. Haven't been since the Lakers and the Celtics in the days of the 70s and 80s. And the Harlem Globetrotters. Curly Neal and Goose and Meadowlark and... Okay, so get over it. Peace talks between Russia and Ukraine continue, but they're not going anywhere. Well, good, but they got logos and little flags and tables and they're meeting. Okay, good. Western media is now all in about the refugees and their needs, their basic needs: food, a roof over their head, and health care. What the basic human needs? Food, shelter, health care. UNICEF. You know, it was one thing when the groups for the international concern of the feline whatevers, UNICEF could not stand by anymore. Oh, they need their coffers filled. UNICEF has now alleged that 50% of the children, many are traveling alone. Mandate debate is heating up in Chicago, hopefully diverting some of the ugly attention Mayor Lori Lightfoot received regarding her attempt to appear like a leprechaun for the St. Patrick's Day parade last Saturday. It's not, no. We're lazy for that. You know, we're going to federal Juneteenth and everything else. Sad. The mandate debate. It's a debate on the mandate. Well, there's a problem now because this isn't about public health. This isn't the safety of the children. The teachers are upset. The teachers for the Chicago Public School Systems, CPS. The children need to wear masks. The teachers are afraid because the teachers may go home and give it to their other people around them that have comorbidity issues like diabetes and high blood pressure and obesity and liberalism and whatever. They're worried. It's too soon to take the kids off, take the masks off the kids. Let's get through the school year. Oh, the parents are going, what? Well, there's just not enough data. This comes from CPS. More kids need to be vaxxed. 50% of CPS of the Chicago Public Schools, 50% of the Chicago Public Schools are only 10% vaccinated. Teachers are concerned, and the teachers union is going to have a temper tantrum. The teachers union is upset because of the agreement that all of their members cast their ballot last year on a extension of our contracts to teach these rat bastards, I mean good children. In their negotiated contracts last year, social distancing and masks, whether the CDC, the WHO, Fauci, or Batman and Robin tell you, social distancing and masks will continue in the Chicago public school systems. Period. This is for your own good. Wow. Is that not telling? The union is pissed because it's in our contract and we are not going to allow it. It allows for teachers to remote and all of this and still get full pay, full benefits, and absolutely destroying children. By the way, the doctors are now seeing exactly what we said after 2 weeks to flatten the curve. These children have serious mental issues from not being able to be children. It's a mental health crisis, and we're going to need to, categorize it and name it so we can treat it with pharmaceuticals. That's right, really start putting pills in the kids. Almost all Americans now are reported to be pre-diabetic. Define most. The teachers union, by the way, points out that children will have the option. You think the teachers are going to put up with that for... Okay. Where is Dr. Fauci? Anyone? Pfizer CEO on CNN reporting that now the data is not in yet on the what is now being called the BA.2 variant, BA.2 variant. That's Deltacron. There's not enough data yet, but come this fall, a fourth dose may be necessary. Coming this fall. Is anything else coming this fall? Because the Democrats had a meeting in Philadelphia about, those pesky things called the midterms. China now under, the lockdowns. And with the 50 million now under lockdown, major corporations and companies that you rely on, including things like Apple, are temporarily having to close their plants and their corporate stuff, their manufacturing. And so to get ahead of this, the White House wanted to make it very clear that, let me be clear, every time one of them say that, you should snap them upside their head. Let me be clear. As the United States had a tense meeting with China urging them not to intercede with Russia regarding aid or anything else, because of the lockdowns in China, we can expect to see supply chain issues. The migrants off the Florida coast, off the Florida Keys. What migrants? Swimming? Are they in a boat? Are they coming in like a water ski show in a big pyramid? Rather irresponsible for ABC News to just let that run under the crawl 3 times and not do anything in the hour visually to explain it. I'm sure they will, because the tensions in Northern Ireland have never been more right to explode. Coincidentally, at St. Patrick's Day, you're going to pull that lie, huh? The probe into the death of comedian, comic legend, Full House dad, Bob Saget. The judge is prohibiting any more information to be released to the public. The Florida judge will not be releasing any more data. Now, the media quickly point out that Bob Saget's death was most likely caused when he fell down on a carpeted floor. Okay. Queen Elizabeth II, her schedule is, quote, going to be significantly reduced and significantly curtailed due to health reasons. What happens when Camilla, I know, Lyft has decided to show solidarity with Uber, and they too will be a temporary upcharge. Not going to be temporary, because after 60 days, it's just going to be there. The economy is what it is. And even when gas comes back down, that surcharge is sticking with you. Mark my words, Scooter Damas. 20 minutes and 40 seconds into this. The bird flu has been detected in Wisconsin. We are monitoring the situation critically. Idaho has passed a 6-week abortion ban because of the upcoming fears regarding the Supreme Court. Oh, good. So riot season's coming early? Well, June. We expect the Supreme Court's ruling in June. And you expected what? You're already expecting it in a direction so you can gin up all that energy you'll need. You know, that kind of energy that people like Maxine Waters likes. When you get in that thing, you tell them they're not welcome. High fire danger across the desert high plains in Nebraska and Kansas and Colorado. Okie dokie. President Zelensky from the Ukraine will be addressing a joint session of Congress on 3/16 via remote. He's not flying over here. He's not leaving. Why don't you come over here and have a conversation? We'll talk about keeping you safe. I'm not leaving my country. I'm not leaving my desk. They are going to kill us all in order to take us. You want to talk? We'll do it on Zoom. President Zelensky has also pointed out that Russian troops who surrender will be treated decently, suggesting because people are shocked that the Russian soldiers are looting businesses. The soldiers are just coming in and they go into the store and they take things. Don't seem outraged about the idiots doing that in any 7-Eleven, Quick Stop, Come and Go. Who named Come and Go? What sick, psychopathic, perverted freak show on the dance floor? Bird flu in Wisconsin. Brilliant! We're going old school. They didn't buy the bat in the wet market. You want to really, with America, hit them where it hurts. Chicken wings. We may have to slaughter tens of millions. They just drool at the thought of that, too. Killing all those innocent, defenseless animals. So worried about UNICEF. How much money are we going to start throwing in? We're going to need more money. You know, where is all the tens of millions of dollars for Ukrainian relief going now? Where's Hillary? Speaking of where's Hillary? Russia. They're not happy with Hillary. They publicly sanctioned her. Hillary then got on social media and any media that would have her. Well, she is the former First Lady and Secretary of State, and her foreign affairs expertise is second to none. Second to none to who? Joe Biden and Kamala Harris? Because when Michelle Obama and Hillary Clinton team together, they are going to unify all women of color around the world. Well, we're just trying to rally the voters in the United States, and Hillary and Michelle are not going to pass the sniff test. And if the rumors are even true, if just 1/10 of the rumors are true, that's an ugly smell. I don't want anywhere near to check to see if it passes the sniff test. But Hillary Clinton gets on social media and wanted to thank Russia for the award, recognizing her lifelong career and dedication to the evilness of Vladimir Putin. Somebody want to scroll down her Twitter feed when she was former Secretary of State and pantsuit all forever hate Hillary Rodham Clinton. Other than, we came, we saw, he died. No, no, no. How you talked about Vladimir then as a world leader and champion of the women and democracy around the world. Hillary, you're a lion. You know what's a what, and that's that. The world awaits. As the media reported in the teaser, President Obama testing positive for COVID. Find out how he's battling it. He's battling it. He has a sore throat for a couple days. His battle with COVID. It's a battle with COVID. Everyone's the victim. Everyone's in a battle. Wow. Okay. If you say so. The tensions between the Catholics and the Protestants, although relatively is short-lived, 20 plus years, isn't it like 30? Tensions have never been higher. Except for whoever's as high as they are in the newsroom writing that crap. Reporting from enemy lines in the Ukraine, tensions in Northern Ireland can be felt as far away as here. How are all these ex-military soldiers suddenly showing up and popping up there? Defense con. Shh. I still want to know how the Ukrainian refugees made it to the U.S.-Mexican border so fast. I feel a crisis about to emerge, and I have a feeling they're going to blame Trump and COVID, and here comes sweeping immigration reform, whether you like it or not, before the midterms. For all those, they're worried about not getting enough voters. How can that? I shouldn't say anymore because I don't want to give many ideas. Give me ideas for what to be doing every night. I'd appreciate that. Follow along with me at scootermcgee.com. Follow me on Twitter, the Scooter McGee. See you on social media, Scooter McGee on Facebook. And if you enjoy the product and want to participate and fund and sponsor and make this better, I would really appreciate your help. Scooter McGee on Patreon. And those links, except for Patreon, are all at scootermcgee.com. We'll have everything updated by the end of the week. Be well, be safe, be kind, and be very leery of the headlines they're spewing. Do your own research. Read. You see the headline? I really encourage you to take a moment out of your day and read. Formulate your own opinion, not the opinion they want you to have. Speaking of they, 3/15/2022, what the were Joy and Whoopi, and what's with the pork chop fetish? And talking about how to approach somebody and talk about how much someone may eat, especially when it was a white man. 7 pork chops. And who likes a pork chop or 2? But 7? And el nombre del Padre, Filio, y Spiritus Sancti, amen. Okay, good night, God bless, Godspeed, good night, Gotham. I'm out of here. Of course it won't stop. Oh, you have to make it stop. Okay, goodbye.